Hey, it's Rob at EMPI. We're on our next dealer visit. We're at Black Forest Racing, Denver, North Carolina. They're a PMO induction dealer. They work on lots of Porsches. Let's see what they're up to. Hey, you must be Cody. I'm Rob.
Hey there, nice to meet you, Rob. Yep,
Good to meet you.
Welcome to Black Forest Racing.
Awesome. So tell me what you guys do here.
We do pretty much anything that somebody wants to be done to a Porsche. Our main focus these days has been 996 to 991 era cars, but we still do a ton of air-cooled stuff, and we don't currently do restorations, but pretty much anything else, performance work, dyno tuning, custom builds, race cars, track support, vehicle transport, kind of anything that you want to a Porsche, other than restoration these days.
Okay. Well, from what I noticed out back, it looks like a pretty busy shop. Can you show us what you're working on?
Absolutely, some busy stuff out there.
All right.
So here out in the main shop, we've got various things going on, a mix of water-cooled and air-cooled stuff. We've got a 914 in for some simple stuff, needs a throttle cable, one of the little pawls broke off of the parking brake, a couple of little fixes like that. We've got this beautiful orange, signal orange project car over here.
That's an eye catcher.
Somebody started that one as a project and got too busy in their personal life to finish it. So we're getting some things wrapped up with like the heater ducting and the final touches on that one. We've got this track day car / race car that's been in storage for many years. We're getting it out, getting the mothballs out of it. And as part of that, to help with its drivability, we're installing some PMO EFI throttle bodies.
Let's go have a look at that.
With an EFI system, absolutely.
Yes, please.
Track right over to that. So in the,
warming my heart.
Yeah, very nice. Yep. In the early stages of this one, obviously there's no injectors in place. We've got hoses and routing, but we just got those PMO throttle bodies set on there for the moment. And we're going to get all the fabrication going for that and clean up this engine bay wholesale. Big fan of Megasquirt EFI, so we'll be using a MS3 Pro Evo on this car to control all the ignition and fuel injection.
So Cody, can you share with our audience the conversion from carburetor to EFI? What can the owner expect as it relates to drivability and performance?
Yeah, one of the biggest things is the PMO carburetor design harks back to the Weber IDA design back in the 50s to 60s even. And one of the things that those were built for is really that was a racing focused carburetor. Porsche became famous for using them for all kinds of things, but it was really a racing focused carburetor. So it doesn't have a choke or cold start mechanisms. So one of the biggest things with going to the PMO throttle bodies with an EFI system is cold start. The thing you can get in, turn the key, it's going to fire up every time without the old pump the throttle a couple times and whatnot that you need with a carburetor that doesn't have a choke. You also can improve drivability. It'll work across a larger range of atmospheric conditions, so we're not rejetting in the winter, rejetting in the summer, or if you're racing the thing and you need it perfect, you'd be rejetting depending on all your barometric conditions. This will compensate for all that. Work across a wider variety of weather. Mountain drives where you start at a high barometric pressure, low altitude, and go up the hill. A carburetor will lean out. By the time you get to the top, this will adjust for that and fix everything. So overall, easier cold start, better drivability is the big thing with that.
Perfect. And a project like this from start to finish, how long would it take Black Forest to make this happen?
This one's getting a bunch of other stuff done, but if a car was brought to us just to get an existing set of PMO carburetors turned into PMO throttle bodies with an EFI is usually about a month to a month and a half process. This one here is a long-term project. The customer had been working on this himself, brought us the chassis without an engine in it. Then we got that put back together for him and starting to reassemble stuff. So this is a 944 turbo, which is originally a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder with a little baby turbo on it. This one is now a 3 liter.
Oh goodness.
Using a 944 S2 bottom end, turbo top end, bigger turbo, and then we're going to coil per cylinder here with some LS coils and a custom EFI system. Probably looking to get this thing a little bit past 500 or 600 horsepower, depending on the turbo selection.
So that's why there's a giant cage in the back?
Yeah, that's why it's got the cage in the back.
Got it.
Which is also custom built in-house.
Wow. So you fab cages too?
Yep.
Okay.
Some of it, depending on what we're doing, we'll do here, or there's a shop literally just across the street that we use for some of the more hardcore stuff, and He's got a tubing bender to get the more intricate stuff done. So this is our engine and gearbox building area. Fairly simple, but we get the job done, and we focus really much on our quality of our builds. We try to make just every single one that we do just that much better than the last one and learn something every time. We do a lot of neat stuff where we 3D print our own bins to organize our parts.
Oh, great.
Or even up to over here, we've got a 3D printed crankshaft holder. So just we're focused on getting everything exactly the way we run it. We 3D print a lot of our own tools and things so that we can just have everything organized and well kept like that.
Neat and tidy.
Neat and tidy.
I'm looking at all these beautifully galvanized parts over here.
Yep. These are yellow zinc plated. Used to be in the old days they were cadmium plated. Cadmium plating's on the out for environmental reasons, so we did the yellow zinc plating. These are all original parts that have been restored. So if they've got any pitting in them, we'll clean the pitting out of them with our vapor hone machine, and then send these things off to get re-zinced. So we have original factory real parts that are restored back to perfect condition to use on all of our builds, or even custom parts like this. So this is for a 914 6-cylinder conversion, where you need this oil line that gets you from the intake up to, from the pressure side up to the front of the engine. We run it with an AN fitting for this particular race car. Most people would just weld this fitting on, and you're gonna maybe paint it or whatnot, but we'll send it out to get plated. So we have a completely finished, almost OEM looking
Makes
part.
it looks like it belongs there.
It's custom made, exactly.
Beautiful. Love it.
And yeah, doing a couple of builds right now.
Okay.
Just behind you, this is for that Le Mans History 965 bi-turbo.
Oh, lovely.
This is a G5052 gearbox, which is a 964 turbo gearbox, 5-speed, that we're rebuilding and re-gearing for that car to get it ready.
You said the taller fifth, right?
Yep, taller fifth gear to get that thing ready for the classic 24 at Daytona. All of our gears are REM polished. This one's a little oily, just I kept it oily to keep anything from forming on it while I was sitting here, but everything's REM polished to a perfect finish to reduce friction, reduce heat, get the gearboxes going longer. The next thing over is one of those Cayman R engines. That block is freshly back from getting bored, set up to get this thing punched out to a 3.8 liter and pick up some power here. There's a 901 gearbox in process right now, a 934 speed that just got finished, waiting to go back in its car.
Great.
And in the corner is a 914 6 2.5 liter race engine. We've been having tons of issues with magnesium blocks these days. The magnesium, unfortunately, 40 years after it was made, almost 50 now, is really starting to get soft and really hard to work with. So this is actually, that we know of, the last brand new Porsche engine case.
Oh, wow.
We weren't even able to find it. Our customer was actually able to dig it up and get it purchased and brought over to us. So his previous one had already had all of the fixes done to it, and still unfortunately pulled a couple of head studs from a build with a different builder. So we got in there to fix the head studs and ended up going to a brand new block.
Jeez.
He's got aftermarket cylinder heads and PMO carburetors
Yay!
for the race car build.
Awesome. Love it.